One day, Jesus was walking along a road. His disciples were with him, 12 men who followed Jesus everywhere. Men like Peter and Andrew, James and John. These men had seen Jesus do amazing things. They'd heard Jesus say amazing things. As they travelled along that road, Jesus turned to them and asked, "Who do people say that I am?" They answered, "Some say you're Elijah. Some say you are John the Baptist. Others say a great prophet from God." Then Jesus asked them, "Who do you say I am?" Jesus' disciples stopped and thought. They'd seen Jesus stand up and tell an enormous storm to stop, and it did. Only God can do that. They'd seen Jesus make sick people well, blind people see, deaf people hear, people who couldn't walk. And he did it all just by speaking. Only God can do that. They'd seen Jesus feed over 5,000 hungry people with just 2 small fish and 5 small bread rolls, and everyone went home full. Only God can do that. So who is Jesus? Peter looked at Jesus and said, "You are the good King God promised would come. You are the Christ. You are God's Son come to rule this world." Peter was right. Then Jesus turned to them and he told them what would happen to him. Soon he'd go to the city of Jerusalem and he'd be arrested. He'd be beaten and hurt. Jesus would die on a cross, but he wouldn't stay dead. 3 days later, he'd come back to life again. Jesus said all of this must happen. When Peter heard this, he cried out, "No, this will never happen to you. You are God's promised king." But Jesus looked straight at Peter and said, "Stop. This is God's plan. If you try and stop me, you are God's enemy. I must go to Jerusalem. I must be arrested. I must die. You are either for me or against me." Peter just couldn't make sense of God's plan. A king who came to die?